Today we're going to work on a doodle mandala rock painting on a two-colored blended background. Welcome to George on the Rocks, where stress release is always just a rock painting away. When I doodle a mandala, instead of having it in the center of the stone, I like to have it on either the left side or the right side. I think it's more dynamic, but also gives the idea that the mandala is going off the stone, that there's more than what you're seeing. The idea behind a mandala is simplicity. Although the end result looks complex, the individual pieces are really very simple. All they are is a series of simple design elements carried throughout the piece. When you create a doodle mandala, you want to have a lot of repeat patterns. You can be as intricate or as simple as you want. When you first start doing it and developing your own style, I recommend that maybe less is more and develop your style as you go along. Explore shapes and patterns, symbols and glyphs. Just have fun. As with any kind of style for rock painting, you're developing your own style, your own creativity, your own vision. Don't become intimidated by the look of the finished product. Realize each one is a series of steps. Work on an area, stop. Work on another area, stop. And as with every kind of painting, just have fun while you're doing it. And as far as what you can use with it, I chose a White Posca pen, but you could have just easily have done it with maybe a Sharpie, or, well, maybe a Sharpie isn't a good idea to use with a stone, but a micron pen or a jelly roll. Just remember to include repeating patterns. Like right here, I'm using a stylized form of a leaf, and then a little triangle above those. Instead of the leaves and the triangles, you could have flowers or a star or whatever hits your fancy. In a mandala, what you want to do is you want to use symbols, patterns that have an affinity for you. The more you doodle, the more you have an understanding of what you like to do. Include those elements in your doodle mandala. Like here, I like scroll work, and I also like dots. So what I'm doing is I'm doing a little bit of scroll work, and then I'm going to incorporate some dots. An idea that you might want to consider is to give yourself a little bit of leeway to add something different later on. For example, I had the initial dots put in, but after looking at them, I thought, no, we need a little bit more dots. So I did some dot work. Another thing you might want to consider is increasing the complexity of a theme. And like many of my stones, I'm including a gold border using, in this case, I'm using a gold Sharpie pen, and following suit with some of my other rock paintings, I'm including a border of gold to give it a more polished look. It's a personal choice, and you can do whatever you want. For example, you could paint the backside black and clean up the edges. I just prefer using a gold border. Now, Posca pens are great. However, Sometimes you need to do a second layer in order for the white to become white or more opaque. In other words, reinforcing the white of the Posca pen. You don't necessarily have to do the whole thing, again with the second layer, but just touch up. And again, this is sped up, so take your time. And as I was working with the outline of the raindrop, I decided to fill it in. So once again, I'm changing up my design into something that I think is better. So if you need permission to change your design, I officially give you permission to change your design. At the end of the day, it's your design. Do with it what you will. For this particular mandala, I'm using a White Posca pen. It's a fine line, but you could use whatever you feel comfortable using. And sometimes you find areas that you want to add more things. For example, with the gold border, I like that, but then I wanted to include a little bit of gold in the mandala itself. I'm using gold here, but you could use silver, bronze, whatever. Just make sure that you maintain the integrity of the metallic that you use around the border. Now I know it's possible to aesthetically use different metals together in the same piece of jewelry, for example, but it's a lot easier to just maintain the integrity of one metal color hue in a piece. But if you're feeling ambitious, go for it. Mix the metals up. If you want to mix up gold and silver or bronze color, go for it. This is your time to create. Any decision is the right decision. If you don't like it, don't do it the next time. And now for the signature. Always make sure you sign your work. If you've liked this video, please consider subscribing and hitting the bell notification so you don't miss out. I now upload once a week on Thursdays in order to give you more rock painting tips, suggestions, and ideas. Every other week just wasn't cutting it. So now I'll be uploading once a week, sometimes twice a week. Celebrate each other, celebrate your creative inner voice, and remember to paint along the way.